my name is Lauren McPhee, and I am just about to start my second 90-day challenge for the Showdown Throwdown. As I stated earlier, my goal is going to be to run the 5K CIBC Run for the Cure race, and then I also want to work towards getting a six-pack. So far, I'm actually almost nearly completed my first 90-day challenge, and starting weight was around 130. Now I'm already down to 116 pounds and have lost 12 inches in total. But the main reason I'm doing this challenge is not necessarily to lose weight. 3 years ago, I had a very, very, very difficult year, probably one of the worst I've had my entire life. I was hospitalized for mononucleosis, and before leading to that point, from high school years until university, I constantly struggled with my health. And when I'm talking about constantly struggle, I mean that I would always be getting sick. I was a very athletic person, but I would almost be always vomiting, feeling nauseous in class, had a loss of appetite. I had a dramatic increase of weight and then dramatic drops in weight. I would often get very sick all the time. I had a very poor appetite and immune system. And so leading up into the point where I was hospitalized, I was also getting very sick and having fevers and everything. And then Family Day, the first year they released it, 2008, I was put in the hospital, and at that time it was really difficult. I lost a lot of weight. I had absolutely no energy whatsoever. It was a very difficult time for my family to even see me go through that. And at the same time, I was constantly doing a lot of research to find out why I was constantly struggling with eating and stomach problems and all this. I saw some specialists when I was in grade 12 to get an endoscopy and stuff, and they told me that I had IBS, also known as irritable bowel syndrome. But despite that diagnosis, I wasn't happy and content, and I wanted to do more. So I constantly did my research all day, all night for 5 years. I kept researching and researching until I came across the point of possibly doing a blood test. The reason I decided to do this is because I found that depending on your blood type, you might be unable to eat certain foods. Unfortunately, my mom didn't know what blood type I was, so I had to take the test. So I did take the test when I was in the hospital with mononucleosis, and it turns out that I was O negative. O negative is one of the rarest blood types there are. It's actually the second most rare. It's a universal donor, but not a universal receiver. So pretty much someone with a O negative blood type will often suffer from gluten intolerance, dairy intolerance, egg intolerance, fish intolerance, eggs intolerance, and all of that. So I was very overwhelmed with receiving all this information because this was something that dramatically changed my life. I couldn't live normally like my friends. I couldn't go to eat out very simply and just have dinner. I couldn't eat at the cafeteria at school. And now I was pretty much forced into living a completely different lifestyle where I had to pay for more expensive food just so I could feel better. So after I got released out of the hospital, I was working on getting more energy. So I did that by seeing an acupuncturist and a naturopath. So they were giving me vitamins and natural remedies to try and help me regain the energy that I lost up until that point. It did help me a lot gain some of the energy that I did lose when I was in the hospital, but at the same time, I still didn't feel like I did when I was in my high school years. So I adapted this change of lifestyle because after I found out that I was celiac, so pretty much I was found out that I had celiac disease, which, like I stated earlier, gluten intolerant, dairy intolerant, egg intolerant, and oftentimes you don't have a proper diet because I'm lacking a lot of nutrients that people often do get from eating dairy and wheat, and I also had an iron deficiency as well, which also caused the lack of energy. When I was in the hospital, I did have severe bruising my whole body. My mom seriously was convinced that I was beaten up because the bruising was so bad, that my platelets were so low that I had barely any iron and barely any energy to function. I knew I had to take my health into my own hands. So once I adopted this new lifestyle, I started to feel a bit better. I wasn't really exercising as well. I would often still miss work a lot, and school. I am in school at University of Ottawa right now full time, and I often did miss class and work because I would constantly get sick. So like I said, my immune system was not strong enough because I wasn't getting the nutrients I needed. So 3 months ago almost now, in May, just before May long weekend, I got in touch with my friend Caitlin Fenner, who we went to high school together several years ago in Whitby, and she was telling me about this challenge she was doing, and I was really curious to know what kind of challenge she was doing, because December 26, 2011, I quit smoking. So now, as of July, it's now been 7 months smoke-free. So I knew that after I had eventually healed my lungs a bit, that I wanted to start getting more active, because ever since I moved to Ottawa and went to university, I completely lost that and wasn't as physically active like I used to be in high school. I played soccer, I did diving, I did running. I was always really involved, and when I got into university, that completely did not happen in my life anymore. I did not take that time for myself. So when Caitlin brought up the challenge, one of the first things that struck me was that she told me that the product was gluten-free, and for me, like I mentioned, gluten-free food is very expensive. I might get a loaf of bread for $8. I don't get a tax break for having to eat more expensive food, and being a student is very difficult for me when I already have lots of living expenses, and not to mention I have to pay 2 or 3 times more on groceries than my friends because I have all these allergies. So Caitlin Fenner told me that this product was gluten-free and dairy-free, came from soy. I did have a slight wariness about the soy because I was told I was intolerant to that. But I figured I might as well at least try a product out, see if it works, and if I was starting to get sick again, that I would just stop taking it. So I started taking the product around May 17th, 2012, and I must say that it was completely life-changing. And when I mean life-changing, I went from suffering for 7 to 8 years of constantly being sick, having no energy, to feeling the best I have felt in almost 10 years. I finally had energy to wake up every morning. I used to sleep in constantly 9 to 10 to even 11 a.m. because I never had the energy to get up. And if I didn't have to work or go to school, I would just sleep in because I just needed the energy. And ever since I started the challenge, I started getting up between anywhere from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. every morning, having a shake, going to the gym. I finally had energy to start exerting myself more physically, and in turns made me more happy about myself and made me feel better. On top of that, the product has also helped me because I've been able to save immensely on my grocery bill. Right away, my first month of taking the product, when I paid for it, I'm on the transformation kit, and I've saved over $300 my first month on groceries. Now, I'm receiving my product for free every month, so can you imagine the amount of money a student like me could be saving now that I'm getting my product for free, especially when I used to have to buy such expensive food? I'm now able to still afford that food, and I can feel a lot better, and I'm getting more of my daily nutrients and having a more balanced diet. So for me, Bye Zalis, the 90-day challenge, is pretty much my calling. This is seriously the happiest thing that could have happened to me. It's a miracle that now I can finally live my life happily and not be sick. 3 months is now the longest it's been since I've been sick in 7 to 8 years. Can you believe that? I'm usually used to calling in sick once a month at my work, and not because I hate my job, but because I just never felt good. And I would always get sick all the time, and I had sinus infections, and I was just always catching these things all the time. And now, for once in my life, I can say that I finally feel great. I'm happy, I'm healthy. I've lost, like I said, 14 pounds so far in 12 inches. But like I said, the reason why I'm taking the Bye challenge is because I'm doing it to help me cope with my celiac disease. And yesterday, actually, for the first time, I actually tried one of the nutrient cookies. And I can say that, surprisingly enough, even though there was maybe a bit of gluten content and dairy, I actually didn't feel sick at all. So for me, it's like the 90-day challenge is completely a miracle for me, that now I can actually live a happy life and live normally like my friends. Now I can even have a little bit of leeway with eating certain foods, because now it's been trained in my body that I can now process things more properly and digest them more properly. So like I said, I'm on the transformation kit, but the reason why I'm taking it is not to lose weight. I know I'm already a small person. I'm only 5'4", so I'm pretty small. Like I said, my starting weight was 130. Before that, I was 140, so I was trying to lose a bit of the weight I gained after quitting smoking. But the reason why the transformation kit appealed to me the most was because it had the metabolism awake, which helped to boost my metabolism during my workouts. It had the Pro, which I love because it honestly gives me so much more energy to push myself that much harder at the gym. Because when I used to go to the gym, I would maybe try and last for 30 minutes at the gym and that's it. Now I can exert myself for almost an hour to 2 hours every gym session, no problem, thanks to the Pro. And not to mention, I also love the Vitrim because I am such a bad person when it comes to eating junk food. I love candy, I love sour stuff, I love sweets. So since I've been taking the Vitrim, I've totally curbed those cravings. I do still have candy here and there, but in the last 3 months and just less, I haven't really had any candy. And I've been eating a lot more clean, and I'm just feeling more great. So anyways, that's my story, and why I want to promote the challenge is because I want to change my family and my friends' lives just like I was impacted. Because like I said, this has completely changed my life, and no one deserves to suffer. And I think that all of us can do this. It's the most easiest thing I've ever done in my life. I wish someone introduced this to me a very long time ago. But at least I'm doing it now, and I'm living a happy and healthy life, and I gotta thank the 9-day challenge for that. Well, keep posted for my videos to see how I'm doing on my Showdown Throwdown, and please vote for me to be on the Showdown Throwdown.